When a huge company like Google puts out a new developer tool, especially one that's like enterprise grade, ready for production,
Yeah.
you usually brace yourself for the price tag, right? A monthly fee.
Oh, absolutely. You expect that subscription model. But Google just completely flipped the script. They sort of quietly pushed this massive update to AI Studio, introduced something called build mode, and the whole thing. Top-tier AI, pro workflows. It's all free.
Yeah, completely free. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into the source material on this this really powerful and, like you said, free new tool for AI-assisted coding. We're looking beyond just the features, though. We're trying to understand the strategy here. This feels like a big move, something that could really change how software gets made.
Exactly. So our mission today, let's unpack what this build mode actually does, technically speaking. How does it stack up against the tools people are already paying for, like Cursor or Claude? And crucially, what's Google's angle here? Because, let's be honest, giving away something this powerful, there's always a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. And the question we really want you, the listener, to think about is, if these incredibly powerful coding tools suddenly cost nothing, zero, how does that ripple out? How does that change the job market, the skills you need? Let's get into it. So the sources we looked at, they didn't hold back. They called this upgrade insane value. What actually changed? How did AI Studio go from being, a place to try things out to a real contender for professional work?
Yeah, it was pretty stealthy, but the changes are loud. Before, it was basically a sandbox. Fun, but limited. Now, build mode brings in full GitHub integration that's table stakes for any real project.
Right.
And they didn't just stick with React, they added Angular support, too. Big signal there.
And the heat, the competitive pressure, it seems to stem almost entirely from that $0 price tag. Is that fair? This seems like a direct shot at the paid tools. Cursor, Claude Artifacts, ChatGPT, Canvas.
Oh, it's absolutely a direct shot. It creates this massive imbalance. Think about it. Developers were, okay, paying maybe 20, 30, 40 bucks a month for tools that help them code faster.
Sure.
But now Google steps in and says, here's that same level of help, maybe even better, running on our best model, Gemini 2.5 Pro, constantly, and it costs you nothing globally. How do you compete with free at that scale?
It just shifts the entire ground underneath the market instantly. So why is that free aspect so disruptive for these tools that have already established themselves?
The power level is just too high for anyone to match at zero cost. Simple as that.
Okay, let's dig into that power level. You mentioned the engine. Continuous access to Gemini 2.5 Pro. Can you elaborate on that? That's not the usual free tier we see, right?
No, not at all. That's the secret sauce, really. This isn't some limited model that gives you a few decent responses and then, runs out or throttles you. This is their top-tier enterprise-level AI, the one businesses pay for, available to literally anyone all the time for coding tasks in build mode for $0. The code quality is genuinely impressive, often like human-level good.
Wow. And they apparently fixed the user interface, too. That was a complaint before, wasn't it? Kind of cramped.
Yeah, it was painful. You were squinting at these little panes. They totally redesigned it. Now it's this clean split tab layout. You get a proper full screen editor on one side and a dedicated full screen environment to test your app right next to it. Much, much better.
Okay, that's usability. But the leap into professional work, that really hinges on the GitHub integration, doesn't it? Syncing to repos.
100%. That's what takes it out of the just playing around category. You can sync your project directly to your actual repositories, public or private. That's real workflow integration.
And the AI helps manage it. I saw something about smart commit messages.
Yeah, it does. It analyzes the changes you made and writes these surprisingly accurate commit messages summarizing the work. It just smooths out the process. And it supports the whole CI/CD pipeline, too.
Right. CI/CD. For listeners maybe newer to that, it's continuous integration, continuous deployment, basically automated ways to test your code and get it out the door reliably.
Exactly. So when you use the one-click deploy feature, maybe sending your app to Vercel or similar platform, it fits right into that professional automated flow. And adding Angular support, that tells me Google sees this as a foundational platform, not just a little React helper.
Okay, just pausing on that for a second. Whoa.
Yeah.
The scale required to offer a continuous Gemini 2.5 Pro access, potentially to millions, maybe billions of users eventually, all for free. The compute resources needed for that are just astronomical. Giving that away is a massive statement.
It really is. It's mind-boggling infrastructure.
So beyond the zero cost, if you had to pick one new feature that truly transforms the day-to-day for a working developer, what would it be?
Direct GitHub syncing with those smart commits. That enables a complete professional workflow.
Okay, so the cost difference is obvious.
Yeah.
0 versus, what, 20 to 40 bucks a month for competitors? But let's talk features head to head. How does build mode actually pull ahead in terms of capability, not just price?
It's about the consistency and the integration, I think. Build mode gives you this whole environment, right, for React, for Angular. The code it generates is consistently good quality, stuff you can actually use in production, and it just works reliably. That's where the others seem to stumble a bit.
Yeah, the sources highlighted some of those stumbles, like Cursor keeping its best AI models behind the paywall,
Right.
Claude artifacts being maybe a bit buggy or inconsistent, especially on bigger projects, and ChatGPT Canvas sometimes struggling with complex frameworks.
Exactly. They each have their issues. But the tic-tac-toe test really drove it home for me. The source described build mode taking literally 60 seconds, 1 minute, to go from a prompt to a fully working game.
60 seconds.
Yeah. It planned the project, showed this interactive file structure visualization, generated the code, proper state management, TypeScript, the works, and deployed it, error-free. And the AI could even play against you.
That's incredibly fast. And that visualization step, seeing the structure first, that must save a lot of headaches down the line.
Oh, totally. How much time does that interactive planning view actually save by showing the file structure up front?
It saves that initial architecture design time and stops you from having to do costly rework later.
And that speed, it translates directly into real-world stuff people can build. Like right now, we're talking practical tools put together in minutes.
Okay, give me an example, like the instant client funnel. What's that?
Right, so imagine you're a freelancer. You need a nice-looking lead capture form for a client site, maybe with email validation. Instead of coding it up, you just tell build mode what you need. Bam! You get a complete React component, styled, validated, ready to copy-paste. Saves you, what, an hour? Easily.
Okay, I see that. Quick, practical components. What about the content creation copilot?
Yeah, that one's cool for internal use. Say you want a simple little web app for your team. You type in a blog topic, and it spits out 10 catchy headlines. The key thing there is how it uses the Gemini API. Build mode handles all the integration securely behind the scenes, no messing with API keys.
Zero setup API integration. That's a big friction point removed.
Huge. And then there's the fun little personal one, the what's for dinner, solver. You just list the ingredients you have like in your fridge right now, and it suggests 3 simple recipes using them. Just shows how easily you can tap into Gemini's knowledge for everyday problems.
Okay, of those 3, which one really highlights that advantage of the zero setup API integration?
Definitely the content copilot. It shows that seamless, secure access to Gemini's brain.
And it goes deeper, right? The features seem to get pretty advanced, almost like tools you'd expect for a senior developer. File uploads.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. You can upload files, documents, images, maybe even like full design specs. Build mode analyzes them and tries to build the app based on what it sees. It's like handing off a brief.
Okay, so it's trying to understand intent from external sources.
Exactly. It's like having a super fast junior dev who just does exactly what the spec says. Plus, you get these intelligent suggestions popping up ways to improve your code quality, make it run faster. And the debugging is enhanced too with automatic fix suggestions. This isn't basic stuff.
Which brings us back to the strategy. Why give all this premium tooling away? You mentioned Google's history. Gmail, Docs, Chrome.
It's their classic playbook, isn't it? Release a best-in-class tool for free. Gain massive adoption. Become the standard way people do things. Lock them into your ecosystem.
And then monetize the ecosystem later.
Precisely. And the competitors, they just can't compete on this scale. They don't have the infrastructure, the billions to burn on free compute like Google does. They need subscription revenue now to survive, which slows down their innovation.
And there's the data angle too, right? Every interaction, every piece of code generated in build mode, that's training data for Google.
Oh, absolutely crucial. They're capturing this massive global fire hose of coding activity, how people prompt, what code works, what doesn't. That data feeds back into making their AI models exponentially better, faster than anyone else can manage. It's a powerful feedback loop.
So how does giving away these powerful tools today actually translate into revenue for Google down the road?
Ecosystem lock-in drives future revenue through integrated services and that superior AI model training.
This feels like it forces a fundamental shift in what skills matter for developers. The old way was, spending years memorizing syntax details, framework quirks.
Yeah, all that deep, arcane knowledge of specific languages or libraries, that's becoming Well, less critical. The AI handles a lot of that heavy lifting now.
So what replaces it?
The focus shifts entirely. It's about mastering AI communication. Can you clearly explain what you want the AI to build? It's about understanding system architecture. How do all the pieces fit together? And it's about creative problem solving at a higher level. You're not just coding, you're directing the coder.
Then we're seeing new job roles emerge because of this, right? Like AI prompt engineers, people getting paid serious money just to be good at talking to the AI.
Exactly. Six-figure salary sometimes for people who can translate complex human ideas into instructions the AI understands perfectly. And you also see the rise of the AI augmented developer, someone who uses these tools to become way more productive.
It's a real skill, that communication piece. It sounds easy, but
Oh, it's not. I mean, I'll admit, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes. You have an idea in your head, but translating it into that precise, unambiguous set of instructions the AI needs, that takes practice. It's a genuinely high-level cognitive skill.
that's a really honest admission. It highlights that the challenge isn't just typing code anymore. It's articulating the problem clearly.
Totally. So if you're learning today, should you spend more time grinding React syntax drills or focus on mastering how to break down a problem for an AI?
Focus on problem decomposition and architecture. The AI handles a lot of the syntax now.
Okay, so who should be diving into this build mode, like right now? Who benefits most immediately?
Well, the sources suggest it's a fantastic gateway for beginners. You can learn frameworks like React much faster just by watching how the AI structures a real application. You see best practices in action.
Makes sense. Learn by observing the expert, even if the expert is silicon.
Right. And for developers who already know their stuff, it's a massive speed boost. We're talking potentially 10x faster for things like rapid prototyping or just getting all that boring setup code out of the way, automating the boilerplate.
And for entrepreneurs, non-technical founders maybe.
Huge potential. You can get instant prototypes, build MVPs, minimum viable products, the simplest version to test an idea incredibly quickly. Validate your business concepts in hours, not weeks or months.
So the path from idea to something tangible, maybe even something making money, gets way shorter. What are the immediate revenue opportunities here?
Obvious ones are things like freelance development, building client apps way faster than competitors, launching your own digital products or SaaS tools much quicker, or even consulting services focused specifically on using this for rapid MVP development for other startups.
Okay, but we have to talk about the risks. It sounds amazing, but what are the downsides or limitations?
Well, right now, it seems primarily focused on web applications, React and Angular. That might expand, but that's the core. And the big strategic risk is always there. Google could start charging later. They could impose usage limits. Relying too heavily on any single free platform is always risky.
That classic platform risk. So if you're a business owner building on this, what's the number one thing you should do to protect yourself?
Always back up your work and make sure you actually understand the underlying code the AI generates. Don't let yourself get completely locked into the platform without an exit strategy.
All right, let's try and wrap this up. The big idea here seems to be Google just dropped an enterprise-level AI coding tool, build mode, into AI Studio. It runs on their best model, Gemini 2.5 Pro, has deep GitHub integration, and is completely free. This basically implodes the market for paid AI coding assistance.
Yeah, the cost barrier to building serious production-ready web apps has just vanished. Essentially, it signals a massive shift. The revolution isn't coming, it's kind of here. And it demands different skills from us. Less focus on memorizing syntax, much more on clear communication with the AI and understanding the big picture of the architecture.
So the tools are free now. The AI is incredibly capable. The opportunity feels enormous. The question really comes back to you, the listener. With all this power now freely available, what are you going to build?
And don't just think about it, try it. The source material actually suggested a practical next step, a 3-week sprint to get comfortable. Week 2, specifically, involves integrating an external API. That's a great real-world test. Jump in, experiment now. This feels like one of those moments where being an early mover could really pay off. Go build something cool.